Good, happy Sunday morning, February 2nd, 2020. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to talk about this morning, so let's begin. First up, first case of coronavirus confirmed in Massachusetts, health officials say. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
At Beltates, customers will find everything they need for a building project. The brand names you trust to perform. And with a fleet of over 50 delivery vehicles, we deliver when and where our customers need them. Beltates Building Products. 9 locations throughout New Hampshire and Massachusetts.
Overnight, the Philippines reported the first coronavirus-related death outside China. Authorities say the victim was a 44-year-old man from Wuhan, China. The man was admitted on January 25th. Now, authorities say his condition worsened over the last 24 hours, leading to his death. And back here in the U.S., the Massachusetts Department of Health is monitoring a man who is the first confirmed case of the virus in that state. Well, the man is in his 20s. He returned back from Wuhan, China. More than 14,000 people in 27 countries have contracted coronavirus. The death toll is rising with at least 304 deaths. There are now 8 confirmed cases in the United States. The most recent discovered in Massachusetts, the other 4 states, California, Washington, Arizona, and Illinois. WMUR's Tim Callery has more just one day after U.S. officials declared a public health emergency.
The 20-year-old student who contracted coronavirus recently visited Wuhan, China. He arrived back in Massachusetts Tuesday via Logan Airport and sought care soon after his return. Officials say he remains isolated in his home, and those closest to him are being monitored for symptoms.
We are grateful to him for seeking medical attention immediately, greatly limiting his exposure to others.
But despite the news, officials are reiterating the risk to others from this virus remains low.
We just want people to understand that, but we are going to monitor the situation very closely.
And Massport says this should not keep travelers from Logan Airport, adding there is a very low probability of the virus spreading during travel, but that's not stopping Chinese airlines from ending flights from China to Boston for the foreseeable future. The move putting a rush on tickets.
I spent almost like $4,500 to stay in the middle of the economic. $5,000 US to stay in the middle, to sit in the middle.
To sit in the middle.
Yeah.
$4,500. How much do you normally spend?
Normally spend almost like 800.
Meantime, here in New Hampshire, the state's Department of Public Health is asking all travelers from China who have arrived within the last 14 days to stay home and monitor for signs and symptoms. Tim Callery, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Biden campaigns in Iowa ahead of caucus. Biden stresses unity ahead of Monday's caucus. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Adam Sexton.
Bernie Sanders is on our side and always has been, fighting to protect a woman's right to choose, to fully fund Planned Parenthood.
Former Vice President Joe Biden is also hitting the campaign trail in Iowa, looking for an up-close and personal experience with voters. WMUR political director Adam Sexton has more from Cedar Rapids.
While the former vice president may not be drawing crowds as big as Bernie Sanders or Pete Buttigieg, his campaign is definitely emphasizing those personal connections he can make after the speech, and they're hoping that can pull them through. On the trail in North Liberty, Iowa, former Vice President Joe Biden, who's been one of the frontrunners in this race since the beginning, says he's not going to give up on bipartisanship.
Several of my colleagues in this race think it's naive of me to think we can bring the country together. I refuse to accept the notion that it's a forever war between Democrats and Republicans.
The crowds Biden draws are not the biggest compared to other candidates, but his support in the polls has remained strong. Speaking to Democratic caucus goers, there's a reservoir of goodwill and familiarity in regards to Biden.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Bernie Sanders draws large crowd in Iowa. Presidential candidate Bernie Sanders holds rally ahead of Iowa caucuses Monday. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Adam Sexton.
Free.
Free. That's right. TurboTax Free is free. Free, 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 free.
Well, the Iowa caucuses are tomorrow, and presidential candidates are barnstorming across the Hawkeye state, trying to lock down last-minute support. WMUR political director Adam Sexton is in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, where Bernie Sanders held a rally.
This wasn't an arena crowd on the same scale as President Donald Trump, but by the standards of this Democratic primary process, it was significant. And this is a campaign here in Iowa that is carrying itself very much right now like a winner. Bernie Sanders threw down the gauntlet in Iowa Saturday night, if not with his words, with the size of the crowd he drew to an arena in downtown Cedar Rapids.
Monday night, 2 days here in Iowa, it all begins.
Not only did Sanders have the popular band Vampire Weekend backing him on stage, he also brought with him a progressive who's who of endorsements. But this campaign prides itself on its people power, and burners in Iowa are taking nothing for granted.
I think the big thing is, the polls are showing him in the lead, so don't let that discourage you from coming out thinking that, everybody else will take care of it.
Sanders is under fire from rivals over his ambitious agenda, but the Vermont senator had a message for the forces he says will try to stop him from passing Medicare for all.
Tonight, we tell them your time has come. We are, whether you like it or not, going to pass a Medicare for all single-payer program.
The candidate projecting confidence heading into the first real test of this primary cycle.
So with your help, we're not only going to win here in Iowa, not only going to win the Democratic nomination, but we are going to defeat this dangerous president.
So there's confidence, but also some sensitivity right now around reports that there are more establishment Democrats trying to somehow stop Senator Sanders from obtaining the nomination. On stage, one of his surrogates, Dr. Cornel West, said everyone needs to, quote, be ready to throw down at the Democratic convention later this year. Reporting in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Adam Sexton, WMUR, News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Crews in Windham battle 3-alarm fire. Crews in Windham surrounding towns still on scene of 3-alarm fire. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Bernie Sanders is on our side and always has been, fighting to protect a woman's right to choose, to fully fund Planned Parenthood.
Now, crews in Windham and surrounding towns are still on the scene of a 3-alarm fire. It broke out shortly after 7 on Balmoral Road. Officials have not yet determined the cause, but no injuries were reported.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Students in high school plunge raise over $45,000 for Special Olympics. Raymond High School's team of 130 students raised over $45,000. Let's take a listen to this video from WMUR News 9.
At Beltate's, customers will find everything they need for a building project. The brand names you trust to perform. And with a fleet of over 50 delivery vehicles, we deliver when and where our customers need them. Beltate's Building Products. 9 locations throughout New Hampshire and Massachusetts.
Who needs 80 degrees to jump in the ocean? These scattered flurries and sprinkles didn't seem to bother these guys taking part in the high school plunge for Special Olympics. By the way, they raised more than $152,000 today, and that right there is our very own Mike Haddad in the crowd. Tomorrow we'll see a little more sun before our weather turns more active midweek. I'm sure they wish they had a little more sun there, Eric, but this is quiet for February.
Unusually quiet.
Yeah.
Okay, and there you go on that video. WMUR reporter Siobhan Lopez and her husband Joey welcome baby girl. Sloane Catherine was born early Saturday morning. Let's take a look at this video. Welcome baby Lopez.
Everything they need for a building project. The brand names you trust to perform. And with a fleet of over 50 delivery vehicles, we deliver when and where our customers need them. Beltate's Building Products. 9 locations throughout New Hampshire and Massachusetts.
Well, we do have some very exciting news to share with you all tonight. Our very own Siobhan Lopez and her husband Joey welcomed this little cutie into the world very early this morning. We are so thrilled to introduce you to Sloane Catherine Lopez. She is 6 pounds, 12 and a half ounces of cuteness. We love that picture. Mom, Dad, and baby are all happy and healthy, and as Siobhan put it, just over the moon. How could you not be? Look at how cute that face is. We are so thrilled for the Lopez family. All of us here at News 9 can't wait to meet you, Sloane.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Congratulations, Siobhan and Joey. Deadly highway terror and horror with blazing tractor trailer. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
The deadly inferno on the highway. A tractor trailer crashed north of Atlanta. That deadly accident forcing drivers to evacuate their vehicles, shutting down businesses nearby, and bringing traffic to a standstill in both directions. ABC's Stephanie Ramos has more.
Tonight, the deadly fireball erupting on Interstate 85 outside Atlanta. Drivers stopped in their tracks.
As you can see, a massive car fire has all lanes shut down.
A tanker truck and another vehicle fully engulfed in flames.
They got a fire truck out here already. Looks like it's on the other side. Whatever it is, it's blocking, like, everything.
The tanker was filled with flammable liquid that then got into the sewer from the interstate.
Thousands of gallons spilling, the fire spreading underground to multiple locations.
We've seen intense flames and now thick black smoke.
People evacuated from their vehicles and nearby businesses.
There were some explosions, and yeah, we were worried.
Another witness asking we not show his face.
My wife and I stopped and we immediately said a prayer for anybody that was down there involved in it.
The couple saying they could feel the heat from down the road. The accident claiming 2 lives.
Tom, tonight police are investigating what caused this accident. The interstate was damaged in the fire. Crews racing to complete repairs this evening. Tom.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this morning edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.